Yeah, let's get into this. This is the podcast, right? I don't know if I'm going to go back and record an intro or something, but Gary, when he heard last week's episode where I was thinking about, I wonder if I need a co-host. That might be fun to actually have someone to talk to as opposed to just looking at a screen and maybe some words I'd written down and whatever comes to mind, stream of consciousness sort of thing. That's been the podcast for a long time now, with a few exceptions where I've had some guests. But I'm kind of warming up to the idea of having somebody to chat with. And of course, you were one of the people at the top of the list. I've got a couple others that I might want to try doing this with. So I'm not naming you permanent co-host yet, but you're certainly my co-host this episode.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you pushing it off till tonight because I don't think I would have made much of a good co-host last night.
Yeah, so we had band rehearsal practice yesterday. We played some new music, which I might have at the ready here in case we want to feature it.
That came out a lot better than I was even hoping for.
Dude, it was kind of magical when we were waiting for Brian, our third member of To Be Fair. And to be fair, and you just started jamming, and I could tell it was something you had already been like working on. But I just love those moments where you start playing something that I've never heard and I immediately know what to do on the drums instinctively without thinking about it, and that's what happened. Like I just fell right in and we just basically played the whole song without any lyrics or anything, just jamming. But man, that was magical. I love moments like that.
Yes, that's what it's all about right there, man. And that's all I wanted to do, really. And we had to come down to working for during the rest of the part, and we were all kind of like, yeah, let's go back and play. This is too much like work.
Yeah.
And then my back went out. It was
we were going to play it like one more time and then kind of be done, and then all of a sudden you seem like you're having muscle cramps or something.
Yeah, just this weird spasm in my upper right side. I guess I haven't really done a whole lot for the last few weeks. I've been under the weather. We've played a few times, but it's like I would muster up everything I could to go and do those shows, and then the rest of the time I would just be out. And then Friday I dug some holes, and Saturday I dug some holes, and I was like, this is as much as I can do. And then yesterday we're playing, and it just felt great. And and I've had that spasm before from when I was driving everywhere. I would get these spasms just because you're sitting in this car for 12, 15 hours, know, and but it would go away, like I'd pull over and I'd wiggle a little bit and change my position. It'd be fine, but no, it just kept getting worse. And so I ended up having to take a muscle relaxer, which I hate.
Yeah.
I'll take anything. I'll take anything if I needed, I don't have a problem with it, but I will avoid those at all costs. But it was getting so bad yesterday evening after y'all left. I'm like, I got to take a muscle relaxer. And so I took a half of one, and it knocked me silly. I mean, I woke up with the worst drug hangover this morning over just a half of a muscle relaxer.
Wow.
It's like something with that doesn't like me. So I would have been a total mess. I'm sure if I could have talked, I would have just been slurring and shit like I was completely hammered.
I prefer coherent Gary whenever possible.
Yeah. Or at least marginally coherent.
Right. Yes. There we go. So let's talk about that song a little bit before we get into the cornhole stuff, because the song, when we started playing it yesterday, we didn't know it was going to turn into Traces, or at least I didn't know that was where we were going to go with it, right? But
that's what I'd been working on.
Yeah.
I've been working on right, but it wasn't quite that rhythm, and so I had to make sure. That's why I said, let me test. Once Brian got there and like, oh, let me test this against the lyrics so that to see if they will fit, because the lyrics have, you have to. I hate a lot of the new songs where people try to cram too many lyrics into too short of a space. I'd rather have some long notes and some doop-de-doos or whatever than to have them putting an opus into 12 bars. So it's like, okay, let's see if it'll fit, if it'll work. And but that's what I'd been working on, was traces.
So let's bring the audience up to speed on what's going on with the song Traces, as well as most of the songs on the album Small by the band we were in a year ago called Big.
Well, that was actually 2 years.
Actually, this album came out in
ago.
2019 as well. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's the first song on that album that we recorded as Big. I'm just going to play a little bit of it, and I want you to be able to hear it when I do that. So let me get this going here. All right. Cool. So here's a little bit of Traces as it sounds now. We put this out in the public sounding like this.
Thought I saw you all alone in a crowded room. Vanished quickly from my sight, left traces of perfume. Follows to where you were to catch you waiting there. Follows to what I want, if that is what you dare. You are so different.
So that's Traces as it stands now. We'll let that play in the background while we talk. We have to redo a lot of these songs, right? Just because we've changed the name of the band, and we would like to re-release a lot of the stuff on this album and update it, right? And one of the things you want to do with this song is completely change it. And I want to know, first off, and I think the audience would like to know, why completely change it? Why not just re-record it as an updated, but basically the same song?
Well, it actually originally started out on the first Modern Logic album, Tomorrow's Sun, which you listened with Charlie Pesterfield.
Yep.
As a completely different song, and I had rewritten it in early 2000s to kind of update it, but basically following the original intent. Quarterly, harmonically, and everything, but it didn't sound so new wavy art pop. It was a little slinkier, but I realized later on, after playing that God knows how many times like that I was ripping off one of my own songs, and I'm like, well, no, I can't. We really shouldn't do that. Because it's hard enough if you play too many songs in one key that they become very, very too similar. But this was strictly right up. The entire riff was being ripped off from Fall, and so I said, well, I just can't go back there. So, but the version on Small, I was trying to create a one chord song. I've been working on that for probably 40 years and just never been able to succeed. And I did not succeed then because we had to throw in another chord. We had to throw in the 5 chord to make it work even then. So it was not going to be a one chord song. So I just really wasn't happy with it. I had a lot of positive feedback from it, but I just had a bone to pick with it, I guess, the whole time. So since we have to go in and remix, do everything anyway, I'm like, I want to change. I want to fix it to where I'm happier with it. You know, just I can't bear to have the song out to continue to promote. I mean, it's out there forever and ever as that, which is fine. I mean, it's not terrible or anything, but I'm just not happy with it. And so I wanted to update it again. and we we dropped it back to 2 chords. So I think it started out as very complex, very, very complex song. And now it has I think it's found its final resting place as a 2-chord bopper.
And so this is what we came up with just yesterday as the new version. Now, this is a recording I did on a mic connected to a phone, and it's surprisingly good, but we didn't have like the PA perfectly mixed, so it's a little hard to hear the lyrics on this recording, but you can hear most of what we are doing musically. All right, we are recording. Let's see what happens. I'm surprised how much bass guitar we get out of that little tiny microphone on my phone.
Yeah, I know.
All right, here we go. Now we can just let that play in the background for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's more musically interesting, certainly for me on the drums. What we did earlier on Traces was it didn't change much throughout the song. And
no, it was very monochromatic from a song painting standpoint.
Yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoyed playing that, and I think people will like the new version of Traces whenever we get it actually fully recorded. This is just a band practice demo recording. That's all you got right now. So.
Yeah, but that's I think that it's definitely going to be on the next big project that we do of putting all the old songs, the new songs together. And making a singular, to be fair.
Have you watched Letterkenny at all yet?
I've made it through about 30 episodes, give or take.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, the seasons aren't very long, so you're in like 4 or 5.
I'm in like 4 or 5. I can't. Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's really. I mean, it gets really funny, and then it gets really stupid.
Oh,
and then it stays really stupid, and then it gets really funny again. So it's
my favorite are the episodes where it reveals that it's more than just a stupid, funny comedy, and that it actually has a heart. You know, because it does do that from time to time. Not evident in many episodes, but some episodes it's very clear.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been completely touched by any, but at times I have to admit that I'm not like just sitting there with a bowl of popcorn and watching it. I'm multitasking. So
you're missing you're missing about 2/3 of the jokes when you do that.
I do rewind a lot.
Yeah, good.
I'll hit if I hit something. That's why I like, comedies I can do that with, because you hear something and it's like, oh yeah. I need to rewind and you catch it. It's like, oh yeah. Dramas, man, that you can't multitask with a good drama. It's because if you rewind it, you already know what's happened, and that's generally like the thing that you want to be there for is what happened. And so, okay, well, all right, now we get to see what led up to that. Now, with comedy, you can kind of hear it jumble, the punchline or whatever jumbled up, and go, oh, I got to see what brought that on, a lot, without so much dismay and confusion as far as watching a drama.
There's a few things that I can put on TV and just have it on while I'm doing other things. Like sports is a good one. Baseball, just wrapped up with the World Series. I would be pretty regular for me to put on baseball while I'm cooking dinner, cleaning up, folding laundry, doing stuff on the computer, whatever. Jeopardy is another one. You can kind of let that one go in the background.
Oh yeah,
up all the way up until Final Jeopardy, especially during the Tournament of Champions, which is on right now, by the way. But if I'm actually sitting down to watch a show that I want to watch, comedy, drama, action, doesn't matter what it is, that's what I'm doing. I'm not looking at Facebook on my phone. I'm not sitting at my computer doing other stuff. I am actively watching that because I'm afraid to miss stuff.
Right. Well, yeah, stuff that I'm like, I want to concentrate on, definitely. And that will also be comedy. I'm like, okay, I want to see what this does in the background. And it was a great kind of, not completely background, not like I've turned on Joe Dirt. That's one of my favorite things to run in the background.
Movies you've already seen, right? That kind of
movies you've seen too many times and really aren't worth watching again. But hey, it's on.
Yeah.
And so I'll put that on, or a stupid Adam Sandler movie or something like that. But it's a pretty. I think to me, it's a pretty high. It's a high compliment to have something that I can put on in the background. Like I've watched Superstore. I'll put Superstore on the background because I know a lot of the things, and I'll catch it. I've seen it 3 times or so, 3 or 4 times all the way through, and I would catch something, and it would stop whatever I was doing to watch the bit that I wanted to see, and then I can move on with my life. Because I just, I don't watch sports. It's a thing, and every so often I'll catch a game, baseball game, or of course to do the big ones. I guess we didn't watch. I don't think we watched a single World Series game this year, though.
There was a really good World Series. Whether you care about those particular teams or not, just the games themselves were captivating.
Yeah, I know. I was read about it on the Oracle, but didn't really.
All the way up until they didn't, it seemed like Philly had that mojo, had that thing that, they were the unlikely team in the World Series. They weren't supposed to make it that far, but somehow they were as underdogs, right? And they had the excitement, the enthusiasm, the raw energy of a team that's like, you just know they're going to win. And until they didn't, until like one game, they just didn't have that anymore. It was like somebody let all the air out of the Phillies tires and never put it back in because they had they had it. They just stopped for some reason. I don't know. And Houston didn't stop. They kept it going. So, hey, let's actually do 3 things.
Okay.
And I think thing number 1, I'll start it, but you're going to finish it, right? So going back a month or two, thing number 1 or maybe it was thing number 3. I don't know. It might have been a third thing.
It was number 1. It was the headline.
It was the headline, right?
That was definitely the headline.
Yeah, we've got weights and fish. We got weights and fish. So I talked weights and fish. So I was sitting there recording the podcast one night, and I was looking through the news, and I saw this fishing cheating scandal all over the place. Huffington Post, Fox News, everywhere else was covering the walleye cheating scandal, and so I just started writing it as if this is what I would say about it, and I wrote out most of the stuff that I said on that show, and it took about 15 or 20 minutes to say everything that I had come up with in talking about the fishing cheating scandal, and attacking it as if it were maybe a comedy bit that I might do on stage as a comedian, because I've been sort of getting back into comedy since I'm not doing much theater these days, right? So I did it on the show on Sunday night, recorded it, and then I went and did an open mic Monday night and said all of the same stuff, 5 minutes worth of the same stuff, the faster version, got a bunch of laughs, and I figured that was going to be the end of it. So
until the follow-up.
Well, the end of the bit and the end of my thoughts on the whole thing was that a lot of the people that are at fishing tournaments, when they're not fishing, what are they doing? And I guarantee you, cornhole is a big part of their other activities. When they're not fishing, they're playing cornhole for sure. And I know that there's a very professional world of cornhole. I've got a buddy from down in Southwest Virginia that I work with who is not quite professional level, but he's won tournaments. He's played, but still an amateur, and he's just really, really good. Like, I think I'm good because I beat everybody in my family when we go camping and play cornhole. And then I see how actual cornhole aficionados play. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm not even close. So it just occurred to me that if these guys can't go do win professional fishing tournaments anymore, because they're probably banned for life, maybe even in jail, cornhole might be something they could, excel at. And then
about the watching sports. I have watched professional cornhole,
sponsored by Johnsonville Brats.
You dang Skippy.
Yes. And so I started to look into the future of what if these two, cheating fishermen apply their cheating skills to cornhole. And then what if the cornhole tournament director discovers they're cheating, and then how does that go down? Right. And if it goes down anything like the fishing tournament, he's going to cut the bags open with a knife and say, we got green beans in cornhole bags. So that was the big payoff at the end. And it did get laughs live in front of a studio audience. So that was fun. But that was really just me trying to make it funny and coming up with something funny to say. Lo and behold, you texted me. It's the first I'd heard about it. Apparently it was out a few days ago. But first there's cheating in chess, then there's the fishing cheating, and now professional cornhole has been rocked by Baggate.
Next thing you know, pro putt-putt is going, it's going down.
So what do you know about Baggate? Have you read the articles, seen any of the videos? You know what's going on? Wall Street Journal, I'm sure, has a fine article on it. But it's behind the paywall, and I'm not gonna pay to go read that one. Of course, Huffington Post. We got the both sides of the spectrum here. We got Huffington Post and Fox News. That's the best. So, if both of them cover it, it's a real thing.
That is news.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
And amazingly enough, I think most of this is just the AP stuff, because it was all pretty straight ahead, pretty much the same stuff. And the Huff Post one actually quotes Fox News.
Yes.
So Lopez maintains his innocence.
Telling
I
Fox
don't know
News,
how they became illegal.
here's the "We got weights and fish" quote from this whole story. "We did not boil the bags."
We did not boil the bags.
The Baggate incident is now sparking conversations among the cornhole community about the need for stricter regulations, while also revealing the rough and tumble antics that go on behind the scenes, according to the Journal. Rough and tumble antics?
Rough and tumble antics. I know how they can. I know how they can fix this.
Oh, yeah?
I have a solution. If any of the cornhole officials are out there,
Baggate solution provided to you by Gary Hawthorne on Three Things with JR, the podcast.
With JR,
well, here it is.
You issue the corn bags, official tournament corn bags only, kept in a locked box until they are issued. As the first throw is made, they have to play with exactly the exact corn bags. They cannot, you have to monitor and make sure that they don't do anything fishy with them or anything. But, they come out in a locked box that have been certified by the cornhole official corn bag officiators, all measured and weighted and all that stuff.
By a cornhole master.
A cornhole master, yes.
It's like the guy on the sidelines at the NFL games, right? That has all the footballs. The NFL provides the footballs. You don't get to bring your own footballs to the football game. Baseball players, teams don't get to bring their own baseballs to the baseball game. They have to use the ones provided.
But how did Tom Brady deflate all the footballs if they didn't bring their own footballs?
Oh, they don't bring their own, but he somehow gained access to they have special kicker footballs that are just for the kickers and just for so he had access to the balls that he knew he was going to be throwing and deflated them a little bit. That's the allegation. I don't know.
That's the conspiracy.
Right.
That's the conspiracy.
Yeah.
It was like 4 degrees Fahrenheit out there. The balls are going to deflate, folks. It's like it's called physics.
So it seems.
Yeah. So that I think that would solve everything.
I fully agree. It does not make sense to me why. I mean, is it a professional sport or is it a backyard activity that people are getting paid for? Because that's kind of what it is right now.
Just wait till picnic time this spring, man. Everybody's going to be coming in with their jacked up cornhole stuff, man.
They're boiled bags.
They're boiled bags.
Yeah.
They're gonna have beans in there. I bet the crazy ones will put lentils.
Yeah, the Huffington Post article goes on to say, since a pro cornhole player can earn up to $250,000 a year, some players go to great lengths to get a leg up on their competition, such as boiling bags or washing them with vinegar to make them more pliable. Yeah, you should not be able to do anything to the bags. Everybody gets handed the exact same bags, different colors, but other than that, they're the exact same material, weight, thickness, size, Absolutely. Everything.
They should not bring their own bags. I'm sure they're not bringing their own tables or
the boards,
targets or whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
Because those have they'd have their own sponsors on them, and that just wouldn't be fair. But I love the picture. I love the picture at the top of the picture of that one. Because so they didn't have much they couldn't spend a lot on pictures because it's HuffPost. But Wall Street Journal behind their thing has got this, in play picture with them there in their cargo shorts and swim trunks.
Or it says Bush's Baked Beans on the front.
Bush's Baked Beans, yeah. Professional cornhole does a cheating scandal called Baggate. So everything is a gate ever since Watergate. It's what is in the New York Post? New York Post has a different angle. Theirs actually looks like a video grab.
Yeah, there was a video. I YouTubed it and found some other guy with a YouTube video podcast type thing. He was analyzing a specific video where it was like the actual video feed from the tournament. You could hear the announcers and all that stuff. So I mean, it was the full on video. It didn't have any. It wasn't quite as exciting as "we got weights and fish," but
No,
they handled it in a much more calm, cool, and collected manner. And the end result was that they decided it was okay because none of it was intentional.
right. Yeah, it wasn't intentional.
They weren't.
They made the bags a few inches smaller. Hey, whatever.
Yeah.
but I love this part. The New York Post article quotes the Wall Street Journal article.
Yeah. So who's the authority here? It's funny that the Wall Street Journal is the authority on cornhole right now.
Well, dude, the only real authority is Cornhole Monthly, but that's behind a serious paywall. I mean, I can't get there.
Cornholer magazine.
Yeah.
I play disc golf. We have Disc Golfer magazine, so it would go. It would stand to reason that there would be Cornholer.
We have a subscription.
Yeah,
we have a subscription to Disc Golf magazine.
I just renewed my PDGA membership, so I will continue to get those actual magazines in the mail that I will almost never read.
Actually, I think I've read it more than the boys have, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's like so many other. We called them when I was back in the bookstore days. They were called trade publications.
Yeah. It just occurred to me that, and I'm scared to even say this now, but is disc golf next for a cheating scandal?
Well, I didn't want to say anything because I know that you're fond of it. Even though I don't really participate, I'm very fond of it. We have an ever expanding disc golf course here at Lawless Garden and the
To Be Fair headquarters.
To Be Fair headquarters. And so I'm very, very much a part of that, and I hope that my beloved and your beloved sport backyard thing is not, sullied by nasty cheating.
Oh my God, I can't.
But I could see a lot of room for cheating in disc golf.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think. So a player could use discs that are heavier or lighter than the allowed weight of the disc, right? That's the thing, because all the discs that you use in a tournament have to be PDGA approved. But they're open to it'd be pretty easy for an official to ask if your discs are approved or not.
Right. Yeah.
And then I guess what you could do.
Somebody will figure some kind of resin that's not cool.
So actually, Paul Macbeth back in the summer put a video out, or maybe it was last off season, where he and another disc golfer were testing substances that they could put on their fingers to give them more grip, so they could rip the disc even harder. And they weren't doing it in a tournament. They were doing it as a fun YouTube video to see what actually gave them better grip. And I think they talked about which substances were actually allowed by the PDGA and which weren't. I mean, they weren't trying to break any rules, but they were, talking about ways to get better grip that might not be necessarily completely legal by PDGA standards or whatever. But yeah, that could be a way. You could have something on your fingers that gives you better grip. You could move your disc to a better lie, to a better position, but that'd be tough to get away with.
Not with all the people and the cameras and everything. I mean, I do watch some disc golf, not as much as Austin would like, but I don't think I could watch that much of anything really. But I just get mesmerized by it because it's like, holy crap, these guys are so good at something that you just played around with,
Yeah.
Because I played my first round of disc golf in 1978.
Wow.
And we used the Ultimate You had to use the ultimate disc,
The frisbees,
the frisbee that was made for ultimate frisbee.
And did you just throw it at like trees and stuff, like object golf?
Stop signs, yeah.
Yeah.
We did a lot of signs, light poles, and you'd kind of make it up as you go along. And it was a great way to go around the city and play. Although the game was cut short one time because we were going across JPA to the hole was on the other side of JPA, and one guy shot a little bit low and ended up in the bumper in the grill of a Buick going to Canada. So that round was cut short. We didn't have a whole bag of them back then. You just had the one. If you lose the one,
yeah,
as we did on that hole, then the game's over.
Buicks will do that.
Buicks will do that. They are not what you want to have on your disc golf course. Definitely.
First played frisbee golf at my uncle's house in Ohio, where he had like a couple acres and a pond, and he would stack 2 used old car tires on top of each other all over his yard with a little post and a milk jug on it with a number. And it was basically, he called it frisbee golf, and he didn't even have frisbees that were, up to ultimate standards. They were just regular kind of cheap frisbees that you buy at Walmart. And he had like 30 of them, so you could just go pick which frisbee you wanted, and you throw it in. You first want to get it in the hole in the fewest shots, right? Basically it's all the same exact sport, except it's tires in a hole with cheap frisbees. And then I was riding my bike on the bike trail in Northern Virginia in Arlington, where I grew up, and I was riding through Bluemont Park, and I saw a metal pole with the chains and the basket that are, commonplace in disc golf, but it's the first time I'd ever seen it. And somehow instinctively I knew what it was for. Like I didn't know I was like 10, maybe. I did not know there was a sport called disc golf, but I just saw it and I thought the only thing that could be for is for frisbees. And so I went home and got a frisbee and went back and tried to play it, and it was awful because I didn't know how to throw those frisbees very far. And so it was many years later that I discovered in Greene County, at the Greene County Community Park, this would have been about 18 years ago now. I had this experience again where I'm driving through the park and I see a pole with a basket and chains. I'm like, look, there's that thing. I know what that's for. And then I met up with some guys and got some real discs, and I've been hooked on it ever since. That's how I got into disc golf. That's my disc golf origin story.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that I had the time, a little extra time when I was living in Greene County, because I was doing a lot of community work anyway, but they kept asking for people to come and help them, clean up the disc golf course. And it was like, well, this sounds like really something cool to do. But I never could get over there when they were doing it because I always had to work. But it was, it was a going concern back in the 90s and early 2000s in Greene County, the last place you would expect.
Yep.
They got a decent little course here in Fluvanna, although it gets overgrown. They don't have enough people to
and the county is almost combative with people that try to fix up the course and clean it up and stuff. I've been trying to work with them on several things, and that's the way they are on pretty much everything having to do with Pleasant Grove Park. It's pretty amazing how obstinate they are about people volunteering their time and giving themselves to make it better for everybody. Don't get me started. We could have a whole nother 3 things on just that. Yeah. So let's not do that. How about we do this? Let's call thing 1 done. We'll do a quick break for an ad. The same ad you hear every single time.
We didn't boil our bags or anything.
We didn't boil the bags. Don't worry. Don't worry, we don't boil no bags. You can check my bags. They're not boiled. You go ahead, feel my bags. Touch them, fondle.
Touch them.
Yeah. Put them in your hand. Cup them real good. Check my bags. They're not boiled. We got weights and fish. All right, we'll go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with things 2 and 3.
You be you. Take up all the chances and tell your truth. You be you. Don't be afraid, just do what you do. You can show the world the right thing to do. You be you.
All right, we're back, and we've been chatting during the commercial break. We've got the rest of the show figured out now. We didn't actually prep this show in any way, shape, or form, other than the cornhole bank.
Can you do this?
Something came up for me, and I did not have time to sit down and think up things 2 and 3. So luckily, we figured them out. Thing number 2, as you know, is usually something. A video, a song, a show, a book, something that I want to recommend. And I stumbled onto a YouTuber who I signed up for. I subscribed to their channel. I've liked some videos, and I never like and subscribe unless I really want to see more. And I went to their website and signed up for their newsletter that they send out every Monday. So I got their newsletter today for the first time. And in that newsletter was a recommendation for a video that I went and watched. And then I went and watched the making of the video because it was so cool. And so so this is multi-layered thing number 2. First off, the YouTuber that I've started following is called Tom Scott. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No.
All right. So,
But I'm not that big of a YouTuber. So.
Bro, he is. He's been doing videos for many years. He's approaching his 10-year anniversary, and one of his video channels is like Amazing Places, and most of his videos are like 3 to 10 minutes long. And he's basically, his job is to travel all over the world and film him in front of something interesting and talking about it and interviewing somebody that knows about it. For example, he found a channel up in the Great Lakes area that is electrified so that fish can't swim through it.
Okay.
It's like people.
Is that to keep out the carp?
Yes. Yeah. It is for the carp.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that, but they're doing it. They have, thousands and thousands of volts of electricity going through this small channel, which is why humans aren't allowed in, personal watercraft aren't allowed anywhere near it. Barges regularly go through there, but if you're on the barge, you cannot be on the outside of the barge. You have to be in the quarters because it will kill you if you fall in the water. And it's also that the carp don't swim up into the lakes and start to eat up everything and take over. Anyway, that's just one example of like weird, interesting facts. Like, you're going to learn stuff, but it's fun stuff when you watch Tom Scott videos. So I've been watching a bunch of them, and then he sends out this newsletter, and in this newsletter is a bunch of links to a bunch of cool things he's found on YouTube. And so here's the one I clicked on. It's a song called "Fear and Delight" by a band called The Correspondents. Gary, have you ever heard of a band called The Correspondents?
That sounds very familiar, yes.
So I'm going to play a clip of the song and the video. You'll get to see the video. If you want to see the video at home, I'll put a link into the meeting notes on this episode. But it's pretty easy to find. Just search "Fear and Delight" by The Correspondents. They're on all the streaming platforms if you just want to listen to the music. But you should watch this video because it's cool. And Tom Scott's email says, "This is a spectacular music video, a human-scale kaleidoscope put together with a cylindrical studio, multiple cameras, and clever compositing." And I was like, what does all of that mean exactly? So I went and watched the video, and not only is the video absolutely mesmerizing, but the song is great too. And now, as of today, I've listened to every song the Correspondents have put out, and I'm just totally enjoying their vibe. And so I'm going to play a little bit of the video. I'm sharing my screen with you, Gary, so you can watch and listen here as I do this. Those of you at home can listen. Go watch it on your own when you want to, but here we go.
me grieve. Close friends of mine are in disbelief, as they can see what's underneath. Fluttering lashes with lips of pearly white teeth.
I don't show it, but I quiver whenever you come near, and I cannot decipher between the thrill and the fear. I wanna stop it, but like it too much to let it stop here. It's wrong, but I want it tonight. It was not my own volition, but I fell in deep. By running the distance I've been advised to keep, I trot to the wolf as a doubting sheep. It's wrong, but I want it tonight. Fear and delight, all the way through the night, with a little daring do. I'll fall in love with you. Fear and delight.
All right, so I think you got most of the song basically from that. But if you're watching the video at home, Gary, you can kind of see. I don't know how good it's coming across as I share my screen.
It actually came across quite well.
Oh, good.
I'm on my iPad, so hopefully very soon, if I get this gig, I'm going to put it up on my big screen.
Nice.
But I'm on the iPad right now. The one we were talking about yesterday, 269. What a deal.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, that was so cool.
So there's a behind the scenes explanation for what you're seeing in the video, which I'll just give you an idea of what's going on.
I don't think they shot that for $0 like we did.
No, they didn't.
Like we did ours.
the behind the scenes, or the making of Fear and Delight, shows them in they've built a room that is round and is a full green screen room. So perfectly round. You have to climb through a ladder to get in it. There's no door on it. And green floor, green round walls, and there's cameras all around it. So you can have one person
like every
in
15
it.
degrees.
Yeah, one person in this room can then be multiplied, and it looks kaleidoscope-like. Just think about those kaleidoscopes that you turn, and you got all the little crystal-y things in there, and it's kind of like that effect, and they just use it so well in this music video. So much fun to watch. I love the vibe of this band that I've never heard of, called The Correspondents. I went and checked them out on Spotify. I'm always blown away with how much I don't know about what's going on in the world of music, because I'm not the first person to discover The Correspondents. In fact, that particular song has been listened to 16 million times on Spotify.
Wow.
And they've got other songs up in the millions. So they're not like,
Geez, they made probably $45-50.
yeah. They're not making Taylor Swift money on this or anything, but they've got some real listening. They've got some mojo going. I'm so jealous, but I'm just in love with the song and the vibe of the band, and I'm digging it. So that's my thing. Number 2 is check out this video, The Correspondents, Fear and Delight, and check out the making of the video. I will put both links in the meeting the notes for this podcast. Again, easy to find if you just go Google it, and then go like all their songs on Spotify like I did, so that they pop up in my liked songs playlist.
Hey, JR, are the rest of the songs kind of in that same vein, kind of that Cherry Poppin' Daddies?
Yeah, so this one's pretty good.
Swing.
I'll play you a couple clips from several different songs. By the way, what I think you can do legally in podcast world is play parts of songs and talk about them all you want. I don't think you can play the whole song. I think that's fair use. If you're analyzing a song, then I think you can do it.
We could definitely make that defense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And people aren't coming to this show to hear music. We're just talking about music. So here's another one from them. They're one of their top songs on Spotify. It's called "Puppet Loosely Strung." Oh, hold on. I got the video volume way down. Here we go.
Let me put myself in your shoes as a puppet loosely strung. Around you they were so confused that a faulty man could have so much fun. They read your smile as nothing but teeth. They looked at you with pity first, then disbelief. Let me put myself in your shoes as a puppet loosely strung. They may think they'd never choose to be the man that you'd become. You never felt the need to conform.
Bit of a different vibe on that one.
A little bit, but God, I love that guy's voice.
Me too. I love the voice. Let's try another one here. This one's called Inexplicable.
Inexplicably high, inexplicably low. I think I know what I want, but I don't know where to go. And all the while it seems that I'm living in my dreams.
I'm going to skip forward a little bit because the songs definitely build.
When 2 weeks in, his insides give up. The drugs can't tell, but why would words bring him luck? Powerless to make it stop. Powerless to make it stop.
That's pretty good. Here's Washington Square.
Just love the lust, you'll have the leap without the fall.
Your best friend asks if I am straight or gay. I can understand the question when I dance this way. Straight I said, he said that's okay. Some other little something might be coming your way. A little while later.
I mean, that's just fun. And it's, you know, it's electronic, it's analog kind of at the same time, mixed with a guy who's just very quick with his lyrics, like super fast and witty. And there's horns and keys and electronic drums. I kind of wish they were more, bigger, but still. There's tons of bass in this song. If you have a subwoofer in your car like I do, this will be a lot of fun to jam as you're driving down the road. I mean, this is great driving music. I love it.
So this is two guys, right?
Let's
So
go. Let's go see what it says about him
Or
here.
is it just the one guy? I'm thinking it's just either just the one guy or max two.
Let's see. Incredibly colorful career of the multi-genre dance music duo.
Okay, two guys, yeah.
Came to an abrupt end with the unexpected death of producer Chucks in October 2020. Oh, that's sad.
Oh man, that sucks.
Did I get to him too late? Mr. Bruce, the singer of the pair, has made a limited edition vinyl called Without You in his memory. It's a deep dive into the band's back catalog with a focus on the tracks that meant the most to two artists. That's a no bueno. The posthumous greatest hits highlights their extraordinary ability to make celebratory dance music alongside introspective explorations into love and loss. Yeah. Wow. I had not pre-read that. I did not know that was the story behind them.
We're sorry to bum people out.
Yeah, this thing too took a sad turn here at the end. So we should probably play
Go to thing 3.
Yeah, probably thing 3, or we could play Fear and Delight again really quick because it's just so much fun.
Yeah, put it on.
I'm gonna fast forward through the sad beginning part.
Lips of pearly white teeth.
I don't show it, but I quiver whenever you come near. And I cannot decipher between the thrill and the fear. I wanna stop it, but like it too much to let it stop here. It's wrong, but I want it tonight. It was not my own volition, but I fell in deep by running the distance.
There we go. We're back. I'm happy again. Just the fact that music exists makes me happy. And check them out, The Correspondents. I don't know if they'll ever make any more new music or not, but what they've put out into the world is pretty great.
Yeah, that is that was some good stuff, man. And I'm just as bad as you are. I'm worse than you are because you're on Spotify every day, but I'm not. Of searching out new music, and I used to live on new music. I mean, I remember one time a friend got into my car, and we were like, "Hey, what do you want to listen to?" And she's like, "Oh, something." I'm like, "Oh, I don't have that. I don't have that." She goes, "Well, what do you have?" And I pulled out this whole rack of CDs and cassettes and stuff. And she goes, "Did you have anything by a band with a record label?" And I'm like, why would I do that? You can go and listen to that on the radio. This is the stuff with heart. This is the good stuff. And couldn't get over it until I put some in, and she's like, "Holy crap, that is really good." And what happened to them? They're like selling real estate now. It's like, that's what it is. It's just, but yeah, I wish I need to start, because I read that thing when you were talking about Spotify the other day. I was like, I need to look into that, and because they have a new, they're talking about, and plus I watched the Spotify,
the playlist
movie. Yeah, have you seen that?
I started it. I didn't get a chance to finish the first episode, but I am in. I didn't realize it was a foreign film with like subtitles or overdubs. You have to choose.
I watched the overdub version. It's pretty decent. The overdubbing is pretty decent.
Yeah, I've tried to watch other shows like that, and I just couldn't deal with the overdubs. I would rather read the subtitles. And because I don't multitask when I watch stuff, it's no problem for me. But I didn't like the subtitles with Swedish or whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
so
it's Swedish.
Yeah, so
and the subtitles are in Swedish,
right,
or pig Swedish or whatever. So it's like Swinglish, I guess would be the.
Yeah, so I went with the overdub, and it was better. Yeah.
Yeah, the overdubbing is decent. But that is, that's fascinating.
How close to the truth is it? Is it a true telling of how Spotify became a thing?
There's six truths.
Got it.
Okay, so there's 6 characters and 6 points of view.
Oh, really?
And I hope I didn't spoil it for you.
Oh, I'm even more intrigued now. I'm gonna watch an episode after we're done with this tonight.
Oh yeah, but each episode is one character's point of view, one person's point of view, and you'll see and there's obviously there's lots of crisscross but that's the whole thing behind Spotify, is that there's no real truth. And I think that's what they were trying to say.
Interesting.
It's like anything, they always say, well, an argument between two people, that's 3 stories. There's point A's version, there's point B's version, and then there's what really happened.
Yeah.
So this has 6 main characters in it. There's 6 stories. They all talk about the same stuff, and you don't know what went on.
Huh.
So it's pretty cool. It is. I was very appreciative of it.
And the story of Spotify is clear as mud when you're done.
No, mud would be an upgrade.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. But I was looking into it, and there was an article out that that they're going to have to change their algorithm at some point, because they are literally going to run out of space, because they get 100,000 submissions per day.
New songs added to Spotify.
New songs added per day.
Wow.
I'm sure they have slow days where it's only like 90, but
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mind-boggling. But you got to think, there's people all over the world, and if you have a iPhone and you don't even need a microphone anymore. You just have an iPhone, you can make a song.
Yep.
Yeah, because it comes standard with GarageBand. So and that was what this was written by a music critic. The article I read, and it was like, we don't want to hear that. No one wants to hear that. So, why is Spotify actually uploading it and taking away from people who actually try? And so, it was interesting. That was just a very interesting thing. But yeah, definitely check out the playlist.
So before we do thing 3, let me tell you what I'm thinking as far as, podcast, co-host, show stuff. It occurs to me that we might have on our hands a whole different podcast. Like I'm really thinking about this, that I might want to continue doing Three Things with JR, basically keeping it what it is, maybe with a co-host, maybe not. But I think it might be fun for you and me to have like a completely different show where we maybe talk about, obviously we could talk about anything because there's no rules for podcasting. But it could it could be a generally focused on music show. And I'm envisioning things we could do. For example, we could, let me get this thing. We could go through every song on this album. Oh, you can't see it because of my background. There it is. Can you see it? There we go. We could go through every song on this album, and you could talk about it. We could go through all of our songs. We could make music recommendations like we just did for the correspondence. What songs are driving us these days, and maybe sometimes we could even invite Brian into the fold, that kind of thing. Maybe it's the whole band. Maybe it's To Be Fair, the podcast.
To Be Fair, the podcast. That would be hilarious,
right?
And fun. Of course, it's going to get political, but
well, we'll end up talking about guns and sex and news and politics and all of that, I'm sure. It'll have the explicit tag on every episode, whereas that's only like 20% of Three Things with JR gets the explicit tag.
That's funny. That's about how many times that To Be Fair, the band Big or Big has been on Three Things with JR.
Those get like.
Is that a correlation or what?
Those get triple explicit tags. There.
Actually, this has been very clean.
We haven't dropped an F-bomb yet. I don't remember one.
Nah.
Let's keep it that way. This one won't get an explicit tag.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know. It's partly because you're not drunk yet. So.
Not drunk yet.
Right. But seriously, what do you think about that? And I don't know that it needs to be a weekly podcast, but maybe every other week. Maybe that's a frequency with which we could sustain. What do you think?
Oh, I'm game for any of it, man. I love talking with you. I love hanging with you. I love playing music with you. And we talked about it, before we signed on tonight. I'm definitely going to get my pod on. I've been thinking about doing my own one, Angry Old Dude or something like that, Get Off My Lawn. That was one of the possible titles for the podcast. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Does that already exist as a podcast?
I'm sure it does. If it doesn't, I got to grab it.
I'm gonna go find out right now. Spotify has a podcast called "Get Off My Lawn." Get off my lawn. Yes, there is. Get Off My Lawn podcast. Gavin McInnes.
Oh, the Gav, yeah.
What other show? Here's the description of Get Off My Lawn podcast with Gavin McInnes. What other show has 79-year-old abortionists screaming at Catholics, prison stories, calls from prison, fist fights, virgins, Weird Al, Joe Biden, Elon Musk, and two different Jesse Lee Petersons arguing with each other? I think you're going to need to come up with another name because I
think I got to listen to that podcast.
I think you need to be on the podcast.
I think I do.
Yeah, I am subscribing to it now myself.
Oh God, yes, I'm gonna do that.
Is there a bunch of episodes? Let's see. Oh yeah, most recent came out November 4th. Yeah.
It's ongoing, man.
Oh yeah,
I've got to sign on to this one, man.
Oh,
we can do an entire podcast of just looking through other podcasts.
Yeah,
dude, let's do this.
Looks like there's 172 episodes. The most recent one, man. The title is called
have to go back on the road again.
"Bouncers in Your Pubes" is the name of the latest episode of Get Off My Lawn. And are they doing them live? Are these live shows? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a live.
Okay. So we've got some research to do before we start our own. But Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with it. I don't know if To Be Fair the podcast is the way to go, or if some other catchier name might make sense. Something that catches the algorithms and puts it on people's recommended lists and stuff. It's got to be good.
It's got to be good.
Got to be good.
We'll do it.
So let's plan it out more than I plan out three things with JR. But I think we can.
Well, there's two of us, so we have to plan it out more. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't plan this at all.
Just like we. Oh, right.
Just
all right.
Just like we practiced.
All right. Thing number 3. It's time, Gary. What do you got?
All right. So I've been. Thing number 3. Earworms. You've got them. You might not want to.
I take medication for them on regularly. So
I do too. It's called liquor. But we always get an earworm. But this entire week, I mean, it's Monday right now. Since last Monday, during the day, whenever silence happens, which is a lot because I'm doing a lot of training and a lot of stuff online right now. The theme song to The Greatest American Hero is stuck in my brain. Believe it or not,
I'm walking on air. Never thought it could feel so good.
So free. Oh, God. And
I heard this recently myself.
Insane. It's driving me insane. I mean, it's a short trip, granted, but it doesn't get more absurd than every time that sound gets turned off around you, that the theme from The Greatest American Hero plays.
Okay, I hadn't heard that song in years. Somehow it played for me. Might have been on my Discover Weekly last week or something. I think that's what it was. The theme song.
It was probably when you were in my presence yesterday.
No, this was like a week or two ago. I heard this song and I loved it because I remember watching that show.
I mean, yeah, it's just. I did. And I've seen it on Netflix or Tubi. I think it's on Tubi.
All right, just for those for you kids out there who have no idea what we're talking about.
For you kids out there,
you youngsters, get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. You're killing me, Jones.
Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Never thought I could feel so free. On a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. Oh,
definitely need to change the key. You change the key to G.
Oh man. So yes, that's weird because I heard it recently. Yet it did not become an earworm for me. I forgot that I heard it until you said that now. And now I'm sure the earworm just went from yours to mine. And now it will be harder for me to forget now.
You're very welcome. Because even though it's a heinous earworm, it is very uplifting. And
the show was great. I mean, from a early 80s standpoint, it was great, right?
From an anytime standpoint, it was the underdog. I mean, it was basically underdog in human form. Do you remember Underdog? The Saturday morning cartoon?
I've not really ever seen it in full. I know of Underdog Lady, which is she flies about as good as The Greatest American Hero. I think that was the funniest part for me because I was 7 when this show came out, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the show coming on. My mom watched it every time. So what I remember of it, tell me if I'm misremembering any of it. It's like a high school teacher with like a perm.
Really bad 80s.
Yeah, super curly hair, right? Somehow mistakenly receives a superhero suit, like from Aliens or something, right? Like they dropped it somewhere, and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time and ended up with this suit, and he puts it on, and he realizes it gives him the ability to fly and other things, except he didn't get any instructions with it, so he has to figure it out on its own. And the blue screen shots of him flying are hilarious because he's just like,
I know, and I can't believe they haven't made a freaking movie out of it with, you know, whoever it would be rocking it now. But that would be, I mean, that's like, that would be a done deal because it's like superhero, but in Realityville.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah. And then, so he tried to be superhero-ish, right? Because he kind of felt maybe he should, since he had the suit. And that's like every episode was him maybe solving a crime or saving somebody from the bad guy or something, right?
Because he felt like he should. Yeah. I mean, that was the whole idea, was that he felt like, I really need to do this since I've been bequeathed this entity. You know, it became another entity, but he up until the end, he didn't. You know, of course, if he'd ever really learned how to do it, the show would be over.
Right.
Because who needs another Shazam?
Yeah. Man, that bringing me back down memory lane. Now that's pretty good. Remembering that show from when I was 7.
That's really good.
That's what I got out of it. That's how smart I was as a 7-year-old.
Wasn't that when you were sleeping on the kick drum?
This would have been after that.
Oh, okay.
How long was that show on? Three seasons. So it started when I was 7. So from 7 to when I was 10. That's when it was on.
So you remember it from when you were 10. That's what it is.
I literally remember watching the first episode with my parents. Cool. I remember the first episode more than I remember anything else about it. Well,
no, that's cool. That I thought. I mean, the whole time. Once you said, "Hey, can you?" Actually, even before that, I'm like, maybe JR is going to ask me to come and do the podcast this week. I've got the perfect thing 3.
That's so crazy that it's that. I love this. I love it. Cool. Well, let's do this again sometime. Maybe next week. Maybe we come up with our own podcast. I don't know, but
I'm game for anything. Hey, we practicing next week?
I do not. I have no way I can practice next week.
Okay.
Thick in the throes of moving barns and horses and stuff. And so.
Oh, good. I'm glad you brought that up because I almost volunteered to come help, but no, that's industrial moving.
Yeah. You know what I had to do tonight? You know why I was late getting to you here? We have roughly 20 horses moving from the barn at which we live now to another barn that's significantly closer to your house in Palmyra. And so the stalls have no horses and haven't had them in a while, and they're cleaned out with hard floors, and so they need shavings on the floor, a soft bedding for the horses. Mm-hmm. So we went to Tractor Supply and picked up 2 pallets stacked about 10 feet tall, full of bags of shavings. So we had to drive them from the Tractor Supply to the farm and then throw them into each stall. Somebody else will cut the bags open and spread them and stuff, but we were just delivering them tonight. Anyway, that's what I had to do, is put 2 humongous pallets full of bags of shavings on a flatbed trailer, pull it behind my truck. It was a little nerve-wracking. It was the tallest load on a trailer I've ever pulled. So,
wow. Well, no, dude. If you seriously, if you need some help next week, if I am not in the hospital, hit me up.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, yeah, man. Appreciate the offer. I'm gonna go edit this down just a little tiny bit and put it out for tomorrow morning.
Awesome.
You be you. Here we go.